up a dive. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airwaves, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's so I remember I share and subscribe. Join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, ghosts in the hallway whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, the secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, monsters, and welcome to this week's episode of Monsters on the Edge here on the Untold Radio Network. I am your host, Barnaby Jones. Today's episode is pre-recorded, so I just want to let you guys know that again up front here. It is almost the holiday season, and for everybody that you have on your Bigfoot or Christmas list, go on over to Amazon.com or WisconsinCaps.com if you'd like an autographed copy. Get yourself a copy of Bigfoot is Hiding. It is a 248 full color big desktop copy of Bigfoot is Hiding, the incredible true story of strange activities in Michigan's Upper Peninsulas. 10 years of research and documentation from myself, Craig Sulk, and Barb Sulk from the Hiding Adventure. Coming up, guys, if you want to meet the Caps team in February, we are going to be at the Beyond the Veil event in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We are going to be at Midwest Meta Paracon in April over in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and we are going to be at the Hilton in Appleton for Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention in May. If you cannot make it out to this event, guys, you can get a virtual ticket to the convention at wisconsincaps.com for only $5. All of the events are live streamed, all of the speakers, so you won't miss a thing. And if you guys buy your tickets before December 16th, we are giving away a set of 3 Mothman, Flatwoods Monster, and Bigfoot brick sets from Northwoods Bricks. So all you have to do to be entered is purchase your pre-sale tickets, either for the Bigfoot hike, the paranormal investigation on Sunday, or the convention on Saturday, and you will be entered to win. We'll be mailing those out on the 16th for the winner of that, and you can get that in time for Christmas or Squatchmas. And that's what we got coming up, guys. So without any further ado, if you want to show your support for all things here on the Untold Radio Network, here's how.
Hey, Untold Radio Network fans. Want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
And just a reminder again today, guys, today's episode is pre-recorded. So today's guest is Jason Morse. He was born in Hartford, Connecticut on December 2nd, 1970, where his father worked as a bridge inspector. Shortly after, his parents and only sibling, an older brother, returned to the small town of Cherryfield, Maine, where his father had been raised and 5 miles from his mother's hometown. Jason was a martial artist throughout his school career, earning his black belt at the age of 17 and won many trophies and local tournaments. Jason went on to graduate with a degree in emergency medical technology and has worked on a local volunteer ambulance for 2 years until he had a job opportunity in Southern Maine. He worked for his father for the next 23 years, pouring concrete for residential and commercial foundations, eventually buying the business with his brother. After having a Bigfoot sighting, he dove into research, having several other sightings. When COVID hit and he lost his work, he wrote and published a book, a Western novel, The Road to Leadville. He also is in a documentary, Bigfoot Witness, the Jason Morse Story. There will be another book published next year as a follow-up to The Road to Leadville and another possible documentary. So please welcome to the show, Jason Morse. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you here. I am excited to hear all about your story. I have checked out your documentary. It is available for anybody to watch. I put the link in the show notes for them. I want to start out here right away in the beginning and talk a little bit about you said that you had been interested in Bigfoot even before your sighting. How did that happen?
Well, I can honestly answer that in 3 words. Patterson Gimlin footage. That is the Mac Daddy of all Bigfoot sightings. And it's never been known to be debunked. So many times they've gone over the footage, and it's real. And strangely enough, it's a female Bigfoot. Most everyone thinks Bigfoot as a male. So that footage is just unbelievable.
Awesome. That's interesting. A lot of people say, they got their start with Leonard Nimoy In Search Of, or the other, I can never remember the other one. Anyway, the other Bigfoot movie, I can't think of what it is now, but I'm glad it was a Patterson Gimlin. That's awesome, guys. So you were interested in it. Were you doing any research or anything before you had the sighting?
Once in a while, I would just go out and look around. But at the time, I really wasn't educated enough to really know what I was looking for or what I was looking at. But in the meantime, I'd learned a lot. I've done a lot of research online and with people who know what they're doing. And I'm very grateful for those people. And I feel as though I have a pretty good grasp on what they do, why they do it, and pretty much, I mean, nobody is an expert. However, I feel as though I have a pretty good grasp on what's like all about the entire Bigfoot theory.
Very good. Well, let's excuse me. Let's start with your first sighting. Tell us what you were doing, how it came about, and walk us through it.
Well, it was May 8th, 2012. And I was living at the time on Ash Swamp Road in Newmarket, New Hampshire. And I was just taking my dog for a walk, just a casual stroll. And all of a sudden, he got all fidgety. And I looked to where he was looking at. He started shaking and whimpering, and he, as I say in the documentary, he's not that brave. So he's kind of a big baby. Anyway, I looked where he was looking at, and I saw a dark figure. It was like a reddish brown, and it was like swaying back and forth doing this thing, like behind a little berm, and it had its arm up like so. And I'm sorry, the furniture just came on.
It's okay.
But anyway, I sat there and watched it for a few minutes, and I say minutes. It was more like moments. And I took a picture, zoomed in with my cell phone. It was a horrible picture. You can't see very much until the enhancements were done, and you can see that in the documentary. But it was like a reddish brown, and I thought it was a bear first. So I was concerned for the dog, kind of sort of concerned for myself. And I like tugged on the leash for the dog to get him to come. I wanted to take him back to the house. And so I tugged on the leash, and he turned around and started walking with me. And I looked back, and as soon as I did, the subject that I saw stood up, turned, and walked away on two legs. So this is where it gets exciting. Every emotion that I've ever had in my entire life hit me all together. A combination of fear, excitement, bewilderment. It was just amazing. He took just a few steps. He was out of sight, never made a sound. The thing is he when he turned to walk away, the top of his head bumped on this little tree branch. So I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on the tree branch, remember where it was. So I took the dog home, and I'm sorry, there might be many people that will be upset with this, but I did grab a sidearm and a pair of boots because I knew it was like wet in the area. And I went back after I took the dog home. Uh, that tree branch was 9'4" off the ground, and I was in water. I am 6'4". The water was a good 6, 8 inches above my knee, and I couldn't reach the limb that it bumped his head on. So, I mean, there is no doubt. It certainly was not a person dressed up in a costume or, what have you. It was the best day of my life. And frankly, that's what made me fall in love with the subject.
And that happened right by your house, right?
Yeah, it was less than a mile from my house at the time.
Did you know anything about like when you had moved in there, because you were renting it, right? You were moved in there. Did you have any idea that there had been sightings in the area, or had you looked into that, or was that any kind of reasoning why you were there?
No, at the time I was just taking my dog for a walk. I had no intentions or expectations of seeing anything. But after the fact, I had a couple other people come to me, and one guy, and I haven't spoken to him in a while, so I will not say his name. Just a few miles away, he told me that he watched a large, hairy, bipedal creature tear a branch off a tree and then smack the tree with it. He and I eventually went to one of the, and I am sorry at first. I hate to admit this, but I went to one of the Finding Bigfoot town hall meetings. Anyway, he told his story, and Cliff Barakman and Renee really wanted to come to our area. However, the producers said it was too far away, and they would not allow it. So there's that.
Well, they got to get permission to wherever they film and stuff, so it's understandable if it's outside of their area that they had permission to work in and stuff, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have either of our stories on the show. I mean, I've watched many, many episodes of that show.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend's sighting was one of the most compelling, most interesting, and wonderful things that I've ever heard. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I have never witnessed that. That would be just amazing.
Wow.
And the fact that they would not, I mean, and I want to add, I don't really care about being famous. I don't want to be famous. I just want to tell people the truth. And for them to not allow that was kind of hurtful. But, things happen.
Well, you got a chance to be part of a documentary, as we said, and it's available. The Bigfoot Witness, the Jason Morse Story. How did that come about?
Well, it mostly came about from my initial sighting. I'm a proud member of the Crypto Crew research team. Founder is Thomas Markham. He is from Poulin, Kentucky. He is a absolutely fantastic guy. He's a great guy, good friend of mine. And he thought that my story was interesting enough to, do this documentary. I mean, I supplied a lot of, self-recorded footage for it. And I mean, it's done fairly well. I've had a lot of decent reviews. I mean, some people are critical. And as we've talked before on Facebook, that there have been some negative ones, but people want to see footage of a Bigfoot. And what I had was not really good. I mean, all I had was a couple of long shot blurry videos, blurry pictures, rather.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I challenge anyone to put themselves in that position. If you see a 9+ foot tall, hair covered bipedal creature, could you possibly get clear, non-shaky footage of that subject?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say I doubt it.
I always tell people, when you're out driving and a deer crosses your road, in front of you, try and get your phone out and take a picture of the deer. It's the same thing. If you're trying to get a picture of this, big creature, first of all, your brain is trying to process what you're looking at. And then once you process it and realize that you're looking at something weird, then to get out your phone or get out anything. That's why, dash cams are so important. When my team goes out researching, we all have GoPros on, because we're not going to be able to make that 3-second decision of pulling out a phone or a camera or anything. You just have to have that running. And that's what people don't understand. So the fact that you had the mindset enough to get a blurry picture or any kind of evidence at all is above and beyond a lot of this stuff. And, people want this, Patterson Gimlin footage again, but the fact that you actually got a true story, an actual real encounter, instead of these hoaxed videos and stuff that are clear footage and stuff that everyone says is, a legit Bigfoot when it's a guy in a costume. And I think that stands out a lot more than the stuff that is out there.
I appreciate that. And the one thing that every member of the Crypto Crew research team, there have been times that there were people who have posted some questionable stuff, and they are no longer members. So every single person is still in the club. They are legit. And I believe everything they say. And that's why, in my opinion, the Crypto Crew is a top-notch investigation team.
Very cool. So after your initial sighting, you're living on this property. You have this creature near you. I believe you call him Goliath in the documentary, right? Because I mean, he's 9 foot something tall, at least, with hitting his head on that branch and stuff. So this is a big creature. And you've had a few more sightings or encounters with him. Can you tell us more about those?
Yeah, I did. It was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after my initial encounter. I happened to be, I don't even know why, I was just looking out my front door. I lived in a house. We were renting a house. Me and, at the time, my wife. And the driveway was like straight as an arrow and long. We were probably, I would guess 600 to 900 feet off Ash Swamp Road. But I happened to be looking out the door, and I saw what I thought at the time to be the same creature walk across the driveway, like way at the end of my sight line. And I went to go check it out, because I'm not too smart. I just, yeah, I didn't see anything. There was another time that my dog Midas, who I became to call my Sasquatch detection service, he was very in tune. I don't know what it was, and actually I do, because I found out afterwards that for whatever reason, Sasquatches and canines don't mix well. And I'm not sure why, but there is some kind of animosity between the two. So anyway, he got all crazy, started like staring out the door and barking and whimpering and shaking. I mean, he was a golden retriever, so that'll give you some insight. I looked out the door, and I saw what I feel to be the same creature rummaging through my dumpster that we had like off on the edge of my driveway. I'm guessing he was looking for something to eat. I don't know. And I'm telling you, man, it causes a feeling that you can't even imagine unless you've been in that situation. I mean, he kept coming back to my house. Mm-hmm. The final time, which was probably the most incredible, was, again, Midas started getting freaky, nervous, and so forth. But it was out the back door. We had a slider in the back of this house that we lived at. So I went out there, and I had like a mag light, because at the time mag lights were the thing. I shone it out the back. Like I walked down onto the lawn, and I turned it on, and there he was, just standing there. When I saw the shadow, I put the beam right straight into his face, and he did this and kept peeking at me. So I dropped the flashlight beam down to his, like, around his belly area. He looked at me and, like, I guess the best way I could put it is he scoffed at me. He was like, "Bleh." And I was like, holy mackerel. And he was right there. He was 30 feet from me. And once again, he got frustrated and took a half a dozen steps away, because it was kind of an open area. But he took half a dozen steps away. He was gone, and I never heard a sound. It was that was the Mac Daddy for me so far.
Wow. So you ended up having to move off that property. You said that you leased it and your landlord sold it out from under you?
Yeah, we were renting, and the landlord decided to sell, and the people that he sold it to wanted to move in. So me and my wife at the time had to move out. We moved like a mile and a half away, but I felt I was so disappointed because I mean, he was coming to my front door, and I wanted to learn so much from him. I mean, I don't know if we ever actually could have ever been like, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to say friends. He was completely docile. He was never aggressive, never once. But I hoped that we could become friends. But I had been back there several times afterwards, and I never saw him again. I don't know if he was mad at me because I was no longer there. I mean, in my mind, that's what I'd like to think, but I mean, I can't say.
Did you ever talk to the new owners? Were they still having anything going on?
No, I've never, I haven't even met the new owners. I don't know. I did talk to someone who lived about a quarter of a mile away, and they are of the type that they were like, no, I didn't see anything. And I attribute that to they probably weren't looking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Goliath wasn't knocking on the door, so for example, I have many, many friends who are avid hunters, whether it be turkey, bear, deer, whatever type of creature they want to hunt. They're like, I've been out in the woods for hundreds of hours and I've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, yeah, but you're looking for deer. You're not looking for what's actually there. You're looking for something specific. If it's turkey season, you're looking for turkeys. If it's deer season, you're looking for deer. If it's bear season, same thing. So I don't take a whole lot of that to heart because you have to know what you're looking for to be able to find him. And that's the funny thing about Bigfoot research. Bottom line.
So how come then, now this is just, devil's advocate, how come do you think that, more Bigfoot researchers that know what they're looking for and they're going out there looking for it like a deer hunter or a turkey hunter or something, how come we're not having any better luck?
Well, I really can't pinpoint why. The best thing I can say is you're not looking correctly. And you have to be non-invasive. You can't go out there smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and wearing board shorts and sandals. You gotta be out there and think like nature. It's again, I really can't put a pinpoint on it.
Mhm.
However, I mean, it's our natural world, and you have to respect that. And myself and the rest of the crypto crew certainly do.
Let's talk a little bit about the area where you were living. Can you tell us, like, why was this creature there? What was the like water situation going on? Is there rivers or streams or anything by you? And what kind of food sources do you have by you?
Well, after I moved from the house where I had my sightings, uh, me and again my wife at the time moved to a condo association, and it was right by the Lamprey River, which is a fairly large body of water. Uh, there are plenty of water sources. There is so much chances for prey activity. Uh, it's like the best case scenario for any kind of predator. And I thoroughly believe that Bigfoot is a predator. I mean, it feasts mainly on prey items. Uh, it probably does have some vegetation that it eats. However, I thoroughly believe that it is an apex predator, because there's nothing that can prevent uh, uh, how best to put this. There is nothing out there that can prevent it from taking what it wants,
Mhm.
because it is so large, so strong, so intelligent.
Interesting. Did you ever have any other so you continued your research once that you had moved, right? Have you had any other encounters with any other of these creatures? Do you think that there was just a Goliath in the area, or was there any indication that there was a family unit or anything else around?
During my time when I lived at that house, I've had several points of interest that tell me that it was a family unit. I have seen Goliath's footprint was 22 inches long. I mean, that is massive, even for Bigfoot standards. I have since then seen 18-inch footprints, 16-inch footprints. I've seen 10-inch footprints. So I believe that it's a family unit. I believe that he probably had a mate who was the second largest print that I saw. Uh, and they probably had a few offspring, probably a partially grown juvenile and a complete juvenile. Uh, I thoroughly 100% believe that they live in family units. But again, that's my opinion. There is no such thing as an expert in the Bigfoot community,
Mhm.
because they've never been thoroughly discovered, and no one really knows for sure.
Interesting.
However, I I I certainly believe that there are family units, which I refer to as clans, and many others do as well. Uh, I think they're very secretive. I think they are well hidden. And, well, frankly, I know for a fact they're out there.
Mm-hmm. Have you talked about like working with the cryptid crew and stuff like that? Have you have any of them had any sightings of the other family members of that clan, or do they research other areas than where you had your sightings?
Well, in the Northeast, like pretty much all of New England, I am the one member of the crypto crew up here. Our founder, Thomas Markham, caught a picture of one on a trail cam.
Okay.
There are several others that have had very interesting sightings and experiences. And there are a few other close friends of mine that have had very many interesting developments occur. And again, I've not spoken to them for a little while, and I don't feel comfortable saying their names.
Yeah, not a problem.
There's one guy that is a good friend of mine. He and I founded a different cryptozoology based Facebook page, and he has had a lot. He's one of the only people that I know of that consistently can do, like, as they call it, whoop calls, and consistently have replies. I myself have never had any positive reactions to any of my whoop calls. I don't know if it's just because of the area or what. He was, at the time, he was in upstate New York. Myself, I've never had any luck getting responses from doing the calls. But
you did have some audio in the documentary as well that was recorded on your property, though. Was that have you? Well, let me ask you this. The documentary came out in 2022, right? And so
yeah.
what has happened since then? You've moved off that property. You've still been working in that area and kind of researching. What's going on right now? What are you looking for? What is your research area look like now?
Currently, my research area is wherever the reports take me. As I've said, my wife and I are no longer together, and I moved to Maine.
Okay.
And I work crazy amounts of hours, and I sadly have not gotten out into the woods nearly as much as I wanted to. Frankly, I've had nothing. I mean, I've had little things here and there that catches my interest. However, there's nothing solid. And I'm sorry to say that.
That's all right.
Kind of upsetting. However, you know, it is what it is. I mean, that's why it's research. We have to keep on looking.
Very much, very much. We'd all like to quit our day jobs and spend all of our time out there looking, but unfortunately, gas is expensive, and we can't walk deep, deep, deep into the woods to find these things without money to get there. So,
right. I mean, yeah. Eventually, I'd like to buy a FLIR or a drone.
Mm-hmm.
However, currently it's not possible.
Understandable, man. But going back to your property, as I had said, you had captured some audio on there. That's in the documentary. That's really interesting. Kind of like a couple grunts. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. again, my Sasquatch Detection Service informed me that there was something. So I just stepped out onto my back deck. I saw nothing, but I could hear footsteps walking around. So I just kind of just stayed still and held my phone out. And I had two grunts and like on the documentary, they referred to it as a huffing sound.
Yeah.
It was it was just like a, and I was like, holy crap, he's here. But I couldn't get anything on camera. I never saw him, but he was there. I know he was.
Yeah,
He was probably waiting for me to go back inside so he can get into my dumpster again.
that's probably true. Yeah. I think those are pretty good audio clips that you got there. It definitely sounds very indicative of some of the other Sasquatch stuff that we've heard and had recorded as well. Very kind of a guttural huffing sound, not necessarily a growler, but a grunting huff. So
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. It didn't even sound aggressive to me. Again, I mean, like I said, he's never been aggressive towards me, but something at the moment was bothering him. The second grunt that he gave me actually made me believe in the whole infrasound theory. The second one, like my whole body shook. And I just kept saying, buddy, I'm right here. And he never came out. I mean, I really didn't expect him to, but I just kept on speaking as calmly as I could. And all I heard was those three noises, and I never heard anything else.
interesting. Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about. You said that you walked out on your back porch with the mag light, and you got a pretty good view of this thing. So, with as much detail as possible, can you kind of describe what you saw, what it looked like?
Well, as I say in the documentary, he is just gigantic. I mean, it's beyond reason how big this thing was. He was dark brown, in the scope of my flashlight. He was dark brown, and when I turned my beam down to his belly area, because I didn't want to blind him. I mean, anyone who's ever had a mag light shown in their face knows how bright they are.
Uh-huh.
And I certainly didn't want to take him off. There was some reddish hues. And on his chest, there was a lighter color blaze, right down the middle of his chest, from his collarbone area down to just below his pecs. Other than that, he was a complete standard color, like the reddish brown that I mentioned before. It was very uniform, I guess is how I would put it. The same hood nose, cone-shaped head, and I mean, his biceps were. I mean, again, I'm 6'4", and I weigh about 155 pounds. His biceps were as big as my waist. And I was just, every time I saw him, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, I can't believe there is something out there just walking around that is this immense. And all the things that I've dealt with just makes me want to learn more. And I certainly want to see him again, but I think he migrated. I think he's gone, which really is depressing.
What about like the hair distribution on it? Could you see like the muscle of the pecs, or was that covered with hair and then the face?
It was sort of like a gorilla, like as far as the hair structure went. I mean, there was full hair on top of the head, on the cheeks, like just above the brow ridge, which was very pronounced, to just below the bottom lip was bare skin. The entire chest was covered in hair. Well, I'm sure any of your viewers would understand that when you're standing back looking at this thing, you're just like, holy crap, man. I can't believe I'm looking at this. And it was hard to really take any at the time, because at the time I was sort of a new researcher. And I was just like, this is the most amazing thing ever, and I can't believe I'm seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the most awesome spectacle that I've ever seen in my life.
Very cool. Very cool. No, I don't blame you. I mean, like, it sounds like you were just completely enamored with the size and the girth of this thing, being so massive. And I think I've had an experience. I didn't get to see it, but I was, within like 50, 100 feet of one of these things walking. And it's all on video on my chest cam, and my partner at the time were standing back to back. And I always watch this footage back. There's a big open clearing, and then there's about like 10 foot of woods, and then another open area where this thing was. And I always think, I wish I would have gone back there and seen it. But at the time, I just couldn't move. It wasn't fear. It was just waiting to see what was going to happen. And I think that's kind of sounds a little bit like where you were at, is you're just looking at this thing in awe of just how big and how massive and stuff this thing is, and just trying to take it all in. So,
yeah, exactly. And I mean, the interest was there. The curiosity was there. But I was just like, oh my God, this thing is so huge. And he's just standing there. I mean, the first thing that entered my mind was, if he wanted to, this thing could rip me apart
mm-hmm.
in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just standing there. And I can't say he didn't care. However, it seemed at the time as though he was just as interested in me as I was in him. And I don't know. I hate to say that it was almost like he wanted to communicate, because I don't know. However, I think he did. And, well, he don't speak English, and I don't speak any other languages. There's that.
Awesome, man. It's amazing that you got a chance to live so close to one of these creatures and have those interactions and stuff. And I really hope that you get a chance to get back out there and look for him again. I want to change topic here a little bit and have you talk about your book, because you got a book out here, The Road to Leadville. I'm assuming it's not Bigfoot related. So what is it all about? Tell us about your book.
Well, it's basically a Western novel. It's a shoot 'em up, rough and tumble novel, basically. I would not suggest it for children.
Okay.
There is some violence and a fair amount of language. I really enjoyed writing it. I started it about 6 years before COVID hit. I started it. I got like 8, 10 chapters in. And then I got busy with work. But when COVID hit and my job shut down, because I was a painter at the time, like a residential commercial painter, I just happened to be glancing through my laptop, and I was like, oh yeah, there's this thing. So I went full in, and I had a really good time finishing it. And everyone that I know that has read it has enjoyed it. And I am currently still working on the second one, which strangely enough is told from the point of view from the main, well, what I consider the main character of the book is the dog Tundra. And it's been a joy to write. And I hope that I get the second one out soon, because I really think that people would enjoy it.
Very cool. Very cool. It's always good to hear a story told from the perspective of an animal. That's always neat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I put myself in Midas's shoes, and I was like, how would he describe this situation? Of course, Midas is a completely different creature than Tundra, because Tundra is a kind of take no prisoner. He's a serious half wolf, half dog, and he doesn't back down from anybody. But I keep thinking, how would an animal like this, I mean, he doesn't talk about days or months. He talks about sun cycles and moon cycles. And I just think it's going to be a very interesting read for those who are interested.
Very cool. Any idea when you're going to get that done?
Oh, I have no idea. I currently work quite a few hours in my current job.
Mm-hmm.
We're shutting down for the winter around January 10th. So I'm going to go full bore into continuing this novel. I would like to think by summer, we'll have it out. The first one is available on paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. And I've got to say that the audiobook version, which is narrated by a fine gentleman named Duke Butler, and he sounds like Sam Elliott, which makes it all the more better. The audiobook version is really, really good. I mean, not to push my own buttons, but it was Duke that made it so good.
With a name
He
like
was great.
he should be narrating a Western.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I want to collaborate with him. I want to narrate some of the second one because all the different animals that speak in this second one, I have a very good idea of what I want them to sound like, and I think that I could probably pull that off.
Very cool. Well, I'm a big advocate of audiobooks. I don't have a lot of time to sit down and read actual physical copies, but I work a job where I can actually listen to audiobooks on a regular basis and podcasts and stuff like that. So I will definitely have to add it to my list.
Oh, I hope you do. And I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will.
I know for sure, and I'm not tooting my own horn. And again, it was Duke Butler that made the audiobook as good as it is. And I do hope you enjoy it, because I did.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Well, for anybody that's interested in that, we have the links to that as well as your documentary. You guys can check it out. I found it free on Tubi for anybody interested. You can also get it on, I think, Amazon and several other platforms have the documentary for anybody that's interested. Go check it out. It's only 45 minutes. It's a good listen. It's got some, like you said, awesome firsthand video footage that you went out and shot, and your pictures and stuff, and audio as well that was captured while out investigating. So very good documentary there as well. And awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and I wish you the best of luck that you get back out in the woods and go find your friend Goliath again.
Thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate the invite. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. Let me know when your second book comes out, and we'll have you back.
I certainly will.
Awesome, man. You take care. Have a great night.
You as well. Take care.
All right, guys, that is our show this week here on Monsters on the Edge on the Untold Radio Network. I want to remind you guys all to go on over and check out the Untold Radio Network. We have new shows airing every day. That's awesome. And you guys can like, share, subscribe, and share it with all of your friends. Helps us out a lot and gets the word out for all the other shows here on the network as well. I will be back at you on Thursday for the Paranormal Spectrum. And until next time, guys, I want to remind you, go check out his audio and his book and stuff. It is all in the show notes for you guys there. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the